everybody, welcome back to the Budget Mechanic. I'm so glad you were able to join us today. Here at the Budget Mechanic, we look at your finances to help support a better financial future for yourself and to get you to the life that you want to have. We go through very practical tips all the time on various things to look at, how to detail out expenses, everything like that. So today's topic is going to be about planning for vacations. And today it won't be just about, that one single hot holiday. If you're like me, who lives in a very cold climate, Edmonton, lots of snow, it's quite cold out when I'm recording this right now. So I'm really looking forward to that hot holiday when I can travel again. But that's a big component of it, but there are other smaller trips that you might take that you should be considering in your plan for your vacations. So my husband and I, we each kind of have our own one trip a year, wouldn't that be great? One trip a year that we each take on our own, and then we generally do another couples trip, smaller one. Various times we've done the Rock and Roll Marathon in Vegas, just different things like that. So what I wanted to do today is go through how you would plan for those expenses, figure out what you need. It might shock you. I've just been working on our own, and that dollar value kind of surprises me. So sometimes you got to relook at that. But to make it easier, we're actually going to switch over to a spreadsheet so that you can actually see the details there. In the spreadsheet itself, there are a few different tabs that we'll go through as we figure out what we're going to budget for our holidays. So the first tab that we have here is the hot holiday. As I said, that's something that's really important to us. Once COVID is over and we can travel more freely, we will be doing one of those. So I have created this list from a combination of what we've learned from traveling on our own and together in previously, as well as going and looking up online for various checklists for budgeting. Now, it's a really great resource to go and look at those various ones and find out what they have on them, because they can really help you make sure you don't miss things. They might add something that you didn't think of, and that way you can have it. So, and then you can start, once you've used it, start making it your own as you go forward, as you know things that are specific to you that maybe aren't included on a generic travel list. You can add that and it'll really help you out. So as we go through, we can go through that. I've split it into preparation costs. So these are costs that are going to come up as we work along before we travel, things that need to be in place or you need to do before you go. It also helps to serve as a bit of a to-do list to think about as you're planning your trip. On here I have my passport and visa. Gonna go places, doesn't require it. My passport's up to date, our passports, so no cost. The next item we have is the travel insurance that is available to us, included with the flights. I'm going to say healthcare, so if you need any healthcare costs. For myself, we have a work plan, so I have it there. I don't need any new luggage, but perhaps maybe your stuff is old and you need to replace it, or you've never gone on a bigger trip and want to have something. Same with day travel packs, so that's a really good idea. Hot holiday, maybe just even taking a beach bag or something small if you're going on excursions out of the resort that you're at. Clothes, put some money here for beach wear if you're going to a location that has very different weather than what you have. So for example, reading recently, a lot of people are going to Iceland. If you're from a warm climate, you might not have the right clothing to go there. So instead of a hot holiday, you're going on a cold holiday. So you might need to buy that. For us, maybe I want to improve or get different beach wear that I didn't have before. Toiletries. So a lot of times, if you're traveling, especially flying and such, you do have to travel in the acceptable containers for flights and that type of thing. So you might need to buy the different sizes or just have them available. Camera, I'm going to use my phone. Phone plan. Depending on where you go, you may want to add a feature onto your phone to make sure that you're not paying roaming charges and have a exorbitant bill when you come home. That really is shocking. The other thing is currency fees. So if you're having to exchange money, what kind of fees are there, either from the bank itself or the exchange rate. Make sure you're accommodating for that. Again, I have bank fees as well. Maybe you take money from an ATM as you're going out, something happens, put that in there too. Pet boarding, if you have pets, we have a dog, so we do want to put that in a kennel for the time we're gone. Make sure to accommodate not just your time you're away, but a day before and a day after for pickup, because a lot of times you don't want to pick up the dog the day you're coming home. That can be very stressful. One thing I just thought of that it wasn't in here is medication. Perhaps if you're on a medication, you want to bring extras with you, so you might want to purchase some ahead of time and put that in there as well. Then we'll go down to transportation. So my airfare, airport parking, site travel. So for example, we went to New York previously and we bought bus passes that took us on the subway and the buses, whatever we needed to do to travel rather than taking taxis. So those things are available. So think about that as well, those things. The next topic we have is all our meals and accommodations. So do think about meals en route. As you're traveling, are you going to bring some food with you? But if you're traveling internationally, perhaps you can't take all of that with you. So what do you need to buy at the airport or on your way through? Accommodation. So for this trip, I'm saying that we are going to an all-inclusive. So the meals are included, the accommodation and the airfare. But I did put some money aside for meals, maybe while we're out on a excursion. Put in money for tips. And laundry, I'm going to say, is included or we're not doing it. The next chunk of things we have is our activities. So cultural, you may want to go to museums or anything like that. You could just do sightseeing trips, active things, souvenirs. If you have kids, it may be really important, or you want to have souvenirs for yourself as memories. Gives me a grand total, and I've just used an adding feature on here. Then I can make adjustments and it will always adjust. Although the all-inclusive is $3,600, you can see it's almost another $2,000 for all those other things that you may or may not want to do. That's where I think some people get shocked in what that holiday costs. Hey, it's only $3,600 all-inclusive, but look at all those other things. If this is coming out of your range, maybe you drop things off. Maybe you don't do any sightseeing or activities at the resort. You literally stay at the resort, go on the beach, do what's in the resort and included, because they do have activities a lot of times. And as well, maybe you look at different things that you can cut. I'm going to say it's 14 months. Let's say it's January 2021 and we're going to go in February 2022. So that's 14 months. So I would need to set aside $394.64. Being very particular, it's always about being exact, in order to have enough for that vacation. And so that's that one holiday. Now, the reason I do talk about what are the other things that you do, what are the other travel trips you're going to do, becomes important because it can have a really big effect that you don't realize. Let's look at our other trips. So the other one we have, I'm calling it Run. This would be my trip. So my husband and I a lot of times will, we each get a trip and then we do a couples trip and a hot holiday. So this one is a Run. So what we have is airfare. I overestimated $800. I've had it vary anywhere from $500 to $800 depending on when I go and for how long. So I will estimate that at $800. Have my accommodations, meals, gas and sharing, because I am arriving there, getting picked up with one of my girlfriends, and we go from there. Any other activities, the entry fee for the race itself, and clothes, because I usually buy stuff at the event because they have some really good sales or promotions on in conjunction with the event. So we're looking at a total of about $2,000. It's 9 months from now, so it's January. The event is in September, and so I would need to be putting away $238 a month for that one this year. The next one we have is my husband's. We're going to estimate that he's going out on a golf trip this year. So I've put all the different things. He's going to drive to that, have accommodation. So his big thing is green fees. Maybe he's going to buy some new golf clothes or golf accessories and some other costs as well. And so that's 7 months because it's going to be in the summer, say August time frame. So 7 months to save for that. and that gives him $239.29 a month that we have to put aside for that trip. And then finally, I'm calling it Vegas. I know Vegas is a very popular destination for a lot of people. We have also done the rock and roll marathon, 5 and 10Ks, not the full marathon. In there, we've made that a trip with other friends as well. And so again, figuring out what those costs are, look at what you've done historically for it. So gambling and activities might be the big thing here in Vegas. Here's my total amount, 11 months, and then $323. So that's how I look at each individual trip. So maybe I can only do one. Maybe I can't do any of them this year. It's all dependent on what I can do. Then what you can do is take those and put them all together. So this looks a little bit bigger. So what I did is I took our events, the 4 events on the side on the left here, set out how much I'd have to put aside in each month from January until December of this year. So if you look at it, if I save for each one individually over the course of the year, I'd have to start with about $1,200 a month in January, and then it starts to get smaller through the rest of the year until December. That doesn't quite cover the entire trip because remember, we're going to have January and February in next year. So we'd be looking at about $12,000 total. So this is quite the variation though, of $394 all the way up to about $1,200 until July. So that's one way of looking at how you would set that aside. The other is then to take the annual cost, so the total cost. We have an annual cost, so this is because I put a couple months of this hot holiday in January, February of 2022. So we're looking at an annual cost of $12,000 divided by the 12 months is $1,000 a month, $1,010, about $200 less. And the same thing, if I decided to put my total costs and fully fund the hot holiday this year, so I don't have to start in January and February, it would be about $1,075. Let's say I had some money saved up already from trips I didn't take last year because of COVID, or just money I've already saved up. So I can take those off of here. I think this is where people can be really shocked. $3,600 for my hot holiday all inclusive, but almost $2,000 in additional costs. Now, where can you get that from your budget? You could reduce some of your meals because if you're on holidays, maybe you take some money from your groceries to cover that. Maybe you take some money from your gas to travel to offset those. So it'll depend on where you are in your budget. You can take it from different spots to make sure it's all accommodated. It's really important just to understand what those total costs are, because I think sometimes we can just look at one piece of it and not the full picture. And so this helps to make sure you understand where you're going, how you're getting there, and what you're doing. So I hope you found value in walking through that spreadsheet of things to consider when you're building your budget for a vacation and how you incorporate that into your larger budget. Again, it's all about what's comfortable for you, what's reasonable for you, and making sure that your life is supported by your financial situation. The more that you can get that finances in line and supporting without going into debt, the overall much better you'll feel as you move forward in doing what you want to do. If you really like this video, please hit that like button and the subscribe to help build the channel and let people know that this is a great place to come for financial help and resources. So thanks, and we'll see you again next time.